Alright guys, we're going to do Devil Forge run number 2. So if you didn't see the last video, I bought the Devil Forge a while ago. Started melting copper because I didn't have the space. If I owned a house and I had tons of room and I had big bins that I could just fill it up, it's not worth melting copper. It's not. It's just not worth it. But if you don't have the space and you want to be in the game, it kind of is the tool you need to be in the game, because you need to condense. You need to condense. And if you saw what all of that looked like before it looked like that, it wouldn't even fit in the safe. It was huge. And honestly, all of that metal that's right there weighs more than the safe does. That's how much weight's in there. It's like 350 pounds or something. 360 pounds of just bars. So I'm trying to buy a house, and it looks like it's about to go through. Probably in the next like couple of weeks, month maybe. It looks like it's going through though, and I need a lot of stuff. In a nutshell, essentially I'm trying to buy a 3-family house. It's got a 3-bedroom, a 2-bedroom, and a 1-bedroom. The 3-bedroom and 2-bedroom have already been kind of updated. They're nice-ish. They're nice size. They're nice apartments for what they are. The 1-bedroom has never been touched. To put it into perspective, the heat source in the 1-bedroom is the kitchen stove. It's pretty primitive, but I'll definitely be putting in a boiler and running new heat, but there's been 2 people living up there for 20 years, and they've been chain smoking. They're tidy, but they're not clean. You can smell the filth from downstairs. It's gross. I mean, it is nasty with a capital freaking N. So, yeah, I have to... and they're literally the only thing that's standing in my way. They are holding the whole process up. They got served 90-day notice, or 30-day notice to vacate by the police. And I'm just waiting on them to leave. As soon as they leave, boom, 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 everything falls into place, and I'm out of here. I'm going to be moving over there, rip out the rugs, try to paint the place, at least make it manageable so I can move in. And then the fun starts. Once I'm there, we're going to get cracking. And do I need to sell these bars? No. But would it make my life a lot easier if I did? Yeah. So I'm gonna. And plus, I kind of want to buy some more silver. And at first I was like, well, maybe I'd sell my silver, but you know what I mean? Silver and gold is one of those things that if you buy it, you have to make sure that's money you don't need for 5 to 7 years at least, because if you sell it right away, you're taking a loss. And honestly, in today's economy and everything that's going on, I wouldn't sell it anyway. Like, honestly, I wouldn't sell it if I needed it. Like, if it was between me getting the house or keeping my silver, I would keep the silver. I'm not going to go and run myself that tight that I need to sell my silver, and then I lose the house, and then I'm left with nothing. So I'm not doing that. But I figure I'm going to have to move this stuff anyway, so I might as well just go. I'm going to go and scrap it. And, you know, I did probably go a little bit above and beyond by... polishing them and stamping them, because I was going to try to sell these privately, but I figured out very, very quickly selling these things privately is more hassle than it's worth. So I have a buddy that actually works for a scrapyard, and his boss already saw these, and they're willing to give me bare bright price for these, which is like the best price you can get for copper. So yeah, we're going to go load all of this up and take a ride out to the scrapyard and see how we did on run number 2. And it kind of sucks, because it was a lot of work doing all of that. And I did plan on holding it longer, but, life happens, and that's what this stuff is for. All right, we're going to pull all this out, see what we got here. just what I wanted to do right before coffee in the morning. But we got it all loaded up. Now we're gonna go take a ride over to Framingham. It's a bit of a drive for me, but it'll be worth it. God, that's a lot. I'm gonna feel this driving around too, I bet. Alright, we are back. So, I usually use this app right here, the iScrap app. This shows the national average price for scrap. So I usually look at this before I go to any scrapyard, so at least I know what, the national average is. And this is what I did last time as well. So I kind of could figure out what I was going to get from the Boston scrapyard that I went to last time, based off of these numbers and what they were last time and what I got last time. And if I had gone to the Boston scrapyard, I would have got somewhere in the neighborhood of $940 for all of that. Which, based off of all of these numbers, what I wanted for the bars was $1,200. That's what I wanted for everything, based off of today's prices. But what you want and what you get are two different things usually, right? So I went to Framingham Salvage, which they definitely took care of me there. Definitely a lot better than the last scrapyard, so I'm going to continue to go to Framingham Salvage from now on. But, so here's the thing, right? All these scrapyards kind of like, we put all the bars on a pallet. They weighed the pallet first. Then we threw all of the copper and brass on the same and weighed it. Then subtracted the brass, weighed it again, and kind of did it that way. And at the end of things, he says, well, I came up with 72 pounds of brass. And I'm like, yep, that's what I have. And he's like, well, and for copper, we came up with 320 pounds. And I'm like, yeah, you're off by 8.8 pounds. I have 328.8. And he's like, well, maybe your scale's off a little bit. I'm like, well, we came up with the same number for brass. So how... But, I wasn't going to haggle. You know what I mean? I guess I could have said, hey, let's reweigh the copper, just the copper by itself. But I didn't because I got $1,200. So I wasn't going to argue with them over the last 8 pounds because, they need to make a little bit of money too. I understand that. So at the end of the day, I got what I wanted for the bars, which is good. And I also was able to find out what the purity of those bars were, which was quite interesting. So they had one of those XRF guns, and they actually took a machine and chopped a few bars right in half. All these scrapyards are freaked out that you're going to fill the middle of the bar with lead, but I don't think they've ever seen the process of melting these things down because they are so hot. There's no way you're getting lead in there. I don't see how that's even possible, but who knows? Maybe people can pull it off. I definitely can't. But we scanned a bunch of the copper bars, and surprisingly enough, a lot of them were saying 99% pure. Then we had some 98s, some 94s, and a few 93s. But, overall, they were pretty good, I would have to say. I mean, for what it is, you know what I mean? It's not fine copper, but they're all in the 90% range, which is good. And he's like, did you know that if you just brought pipe in and not melted it, you're going to get the same price? And I'm like, I realize that. But I don't have the space. I don't have a yard or a shed so I can have these big bins and have them full to the top. I don't have that kind of space. I'm renting. I have an apartment. So I had to melt these bars down and store them in my apartment with me. I don't want a bunch of pipes and plumbing fittings that have shit hanging out of them. So it all gets sterilized in the forge, and then it comes in my house. And I said, honestly, I wasn't even planning on selling these. Honestly, I was going to hold these for a lot longer, but life happens. I'm trying to buy a house, and A little bit of cash would make things a little bit easier right now. But I do plan on, you know, seeing that was some of my metal money. I'm going to spend some of that money and get more silver. But we're going to look at the chart and make sure that we buy at the correct time. So silver on the weekly chart here. You know, we had this little pattern that we were in here. Looks like a giant bull flag to me. Price broke out. And now it's coming back down for a retest. You know, we do have a daily bullish engulfing here. Off of this level. So this might... Silver might, you know, rally a little bit. But I think overall, it's going to find resistance. And it's going to start working its way back down. To, I don't know, somewhere between $22, $21, somewhere in there. And essentially, that's what I'm waiting for. I want to see what happens here. But I'm not going to be buying up here. I'm going to hold off and see if we can get silver to come back down into this between $22 and $21 range. You know, because it would kind of follow this little... running flat we got going on here. See, possibly that's what's going on. I don't know. Maybe, and who knows? Price could hold here and just take off, but I don't think so. I'd have to say I doubt it, because we're coming into the summertime. Usually stuff kind of pulls back in the summer, but we shall see. So I was thinking about buying some constitutional, because I don't have any. You know, the appeal is there because, you know, they don't make it anymore. Right? And it's already widely accepted because it's the same coins that we're using today, except maybe not silver. But everyone recognizes those coins as currency, right? And then you get into these government-backed. It's like, what do you buy? And I kind of figured out my answer. Because I did buy some coins because I do like the coins because it's kind of easy, right? Every coin, 1 ounce, ounce of silver, right? This is how many ounces you have. And I like the Canadian stuff because, yeah, these are all 4 9s. Even the Canadian maple leaf bar is 4 9s. This is probably one of my better silver purchases. The kilo. Most silver for the least amount of premium. And then these from SD Bullion. These are also 4 9s pure. But when it comes to these sovereign coins, right? These are backed. They're backed by the government. What does that mean? Well, that means whatever the face value of the coin is, you can see this one says 5 doll hairs. Right? Technically, I could take this to Canada, to one of their banks, and exchange it for $5. But who in the hell would do that? It's like you go out and buy a U.S. Silver Eagle for, they were going for like $37 like a couple weeks ago. So you spent $37 on a coin that has a face value of $1, and you bring it to a U.S. bank and exchange it for $1. Who in the hell is going to do that? No one. So the whole backed by a government thing means nothing to me. Zilch. I don't care. If it's... the government seems pretty fucked up anyway. I don't trust any government. I trust weight. This is weight. So I got... Honestly, any of my silver purchases, it's just going to be... I'm going for weight for the least amount of price. I do enjoy the coins, so... Obviously, I'm going to go with the Canadian Maple Leafs because they are a lot cheaper. That's why I don't have any United States stuff. Because it's too much. I mean, I don't think... This is Wall Street Mint. This isn't really... Oh, this is from Scottsdale. I guess this is the only thing that's well, it's made in the U.S., but it's not by the United States Mint. This is SD Bullion's little Liberty proclaim Liberty bars. Yeah. So to me, it's weight. For the least amount of price is what I'm after. But I got 3 tubes here that are full, 25 coins each, and then I have this one that only has 5. So I was thinking about maybe that's where I'm going to start. Just get 20 more, top this one off. That'll probably be my next silver purchase. Yeah, like I say, if I buy 20 of these coins, it's going to be around like $600, somewhere in there. That's under $1,000, so I'll either have to drive to New Hampshire and get them from Tim personally. But I did notice that Tim's premiums are a little bit higher than SD Bullion's. But if you factor in that you're going to be paying tax because it's under $1,000, then maybe it's worth the drive. But yeah, I like to just spend $1,000, SD Bullion's website, get it shipped. I don't have to go anywhere. And anything over $1,000, you're not paying any tax, which is beautiful, because I don't want to pay tax. Because they're a bunch of criminals. And they don't deserve any of my money. Or yours. Check these beauties out. 925. Sterling silver. 2 ounces each. Hand poured, hand stamped. Made right here in the United States. Made by the bank of this guy. I trust this way more than I trust your government backing. And yeah, I buy a lot of stuff from Canada. But I'm not saying that I trust Canada, because I don't. It seems like it's not just a United States problem. Because yeah, Canada, your leader is just as bad as ours. About as tyrannical as it gets. So yeah, government backing. Actual silver. Good. For cheapest price. And I have a special gift. Can you hear that? I can make it rain. Like, I should be a weatherman. Because if I want it to rain, all I have to do is wash my truck. And it rains 10 minutes later every single time. So is it still worth melting your copper into bars? Like I say, if you don't have the space and you enjoy the hobby, right, it gets you outside, it keeps you out of trouble. You could have a lot worse hobbies that cost you a lot more money. Like going to the gun range. Or bowling. God, bowling cost me an arm and a leg. Unless you get good and you can go into leagues and start making money. But yeah, I mean, it was a hobby that paid me back. In nice, large sums of money all at once. And I needed to condense to keep it within my space requirements. But will I be melting copper into bars in the future? After I own a house that has a shed in the basement? No. I will not. Because I think it's a waste of money and time. And I'll own a house at that point, so I'm going to be busy trying to get the house fixed up. Which, I know I've been slacking in the YouTube department lately because I have been insanely busy trying to get this whole thing to work. But as soon as it's done and I'm over there, man, there's going to be endless content to come. And I have some really, really good ideas. And I'm not getting rid of the forge because some of those ideas include the forge. Like, I want to build my own vanity, the base, get some nice walnut and make a top for it. And then I want to try doing some sand castings with the Devil Forge and melt a bunch of copper, which we're going to have to figure out how we're going to, because it's going to be a lot of copper that I have to keep hot. So that's something I'm still working on. But I want to melt a large portion of copper and pour it into this sand casting and make a copper sink bowl that's like 3/4 of an inch thick all the way around the rim. How cool would that be? Sitting on a nice piece of walnut, I think that would look sick. But yeah, and then like instead of buying store-bought kitchen cabinets, I want to make my own cabinets, hand make your own cabinets, install them. You know what I mean? Maybe even the countertop. We'll see. Possibilities are endless. We'll just kind of gut one room at a time. Update the electrics. Re-insulate, put new wallboard, floor it. I'd probably add a new heating system, because there is no heating system in that apartment besides the kitchen stove, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, and we're not going to pull any permits. It's going to be my house, and they can fuck right off if they think I'm pulling permits. And I'm going to do all the work. We are going to do all the work, and it's going to be glorious. So make sure you subscribe. Give me a thumbs up, and I will see you there.